Did you know that there is an island hidden from the world's maps, where those who enter never return? The ocean has trapped this place in its grasp, and at its heart stands a lonely lighthouse, one that doesn't spread light, but only darkness. They say that every night a voice echoes from within, a call that can only be heard by those destined to go there. If this voice has reached your ears, then get ready. Join us as we uncover the chilling tale of this haunted island. The mystery of Rock Island. Tonight we have 3 chilling stories to explore, each one more eerie than the last. These tales span centuries of mystery, fear, and unsettling encounters that continue to haunt those who venture to a remote corner of Wisconsin, Rock Island. So, make yourself comfortable, grab a hot drink, and dim the lights as we step into a world of eerie happenings, strange figures, and eerie whispers that have puzzled people for world. Nestled at the northern tip of Door County, Wisconsin, Rock Island is one of the most isolated places you could ever visit. Its only connection to the mainland is through a series of ferries, beginning with a car ferry from Ellison Bay to Washington Island. From there, you will journey on foot, crossing the island until you reach a small pedestrian-only ferry that takes you to Rock Island itself. The isolation is palpable. No cars, no bikes, just the quiet murmur of the wind and the haunting sound of waves crashing against the shore. The atmosphere here is different from anywhere else, a place where the past is never truly gone, and the present is marked by an unsettling silence. Though it covers just 975 acres, Rock Island is steeped in an eerie history that dates back long before European settlers arrived. Early beginnings, the Potawatomi tribe. The island's history begins long before the settlers. In the early 1600s, the Potawatomi Native Americans made Rock Island their home. For generations, they hunted, fished, and gathered resources in the lush forests, the island providing all they needed. It was a peaceful existence, a sanctuary where the Potawatomi lived in harmony with the land and water. But as time passed, the arrival of European settlers would disturb this peace. A small fished and gathered resources in the lush forests, the island providing all they needed. It was a peaceful existence, a sanctuary where the Potawatomi lived in harmony with the land and water. But as time passed, the arrival of European settlers would disturb this peace. A small fishing village sprang up on the island, but tensions quickly arose between the newcomers and the Potawatomi. Whispers filled the air of mistrust, suspicion, and unease. Strangers with the Potawatomi gone, the settlers were left to build their lives in solitude, or so they thought. Reports soon surfaced of mysterious figures spotted on the island, tall men dressed in old-fashioned clothing, with long coats and strange hats. They never spoke, never interacted, only watched from a distance with eyes that seemed to pierce through the soul. As quickly as the sightings began, strange events followed. Livestock, pigs, chickens, even cows, were found under unusual circumstances. Their bodies were arranged in bizarre and unsettling patterns, as though someone had intentionally placed them that way. Some say the animals were victims of some form of ritual, but no one could explain how the figures, or the culprits, managed to remain unseen. One fateful night, the settlers' meat storage building was set ablaze, reduced to ash in the dead of night. Fearing for their safety, the villagers organized a search through the woods, hoping to find the elusive strangers and put an end to these disturbing events. But no trace of the figures could be found, no footprints, no sign of struggle. And just as suddenly as the strange occurrences began, they ceased. The mysterious figures were never seen again. The Potawatomi Lighthouse and David E. Corbin fast forward to 1836, when the Potawatomi Lighthouse was constructed on the northern edge of the island. The lighthouse was built to guide ships safely through the treacherous waters of Lake Michigan. David E. Corbin was appointed as the first keeper of the light in 1837, tasked with keeping the beacon burning to protect sailors and travelers from the island's dark and jagged shores. In the early years, Corbin was well respected in the community. However, as time passed, people began noticing a change in his behavior. Corbin, who had once been a jovial and reliable man, now spent hours staring into the walls of the lighthouse, muttering to himself about strange visitors no one else could see. Some say that Corbin was never truly alone in the lighthouse, that something had taken up residence with him, lurking just out of sight. Visitors who arrived at the lighthouse spoke of a thick, suffocating silence that hung in the air. Though they were standing in the heart of a bustling lighthouse, it felt as though they weren't welcome, as if something watched them from the shadows, waiting for them to leave. In 1845, an official inspector came to check on Corbin. The report stated that Corbin was acting strangely and suggested he take a brief leave of absence, just 25 days to find a wife. Some say that the inspector, too, saw something that frightened him during his visit. The death of David E. Corbin. By 1852, David E. Corbin had died under mysterious circumstances. It's said that he fell ill, succumbing to a sickness that seemed to drain the life out of him while he was alone in the lighthouse. He was buried just south of the tower, his death leaving a lingering question. Had Corbin truly been alone in the lighthouse all those years? Or was something else hiding within those walls? The following lighthouse keepers reported strange phenomena: shadows moving through the tower, sounds of footsteps when no one else was there. Yet they refused to elaborate on the details, leaving much of the mystery unresolved. The Lost Men of 1876. In January 1876, a chilling entry was logged in the lighthouse keeper's journal. Two men had set out from Washington Island to the mainland, but never arrived. A fierce storm had rolled in shortly after they left, and the two men seemed to vanish without a trace. 3 months later, the lighthouse keeper logged another entry. The two men had been seen several times, once from Caney Lighthouse, once from Jacksonport. They were frozen stiff, their bodies sitting upright in their boat, encased in ice, drifting endlessly through the water. Their figures, stuck in time, could still be seen on the frozen waves, their hollow eyes staring from the mist. To this day, their bodies were never recovered, never buried. And the locals whisper that they may still be out there, trapped in the ice, haunting the waters of Lake Michigan. The abandonment of Rock Island. By 1900, all the inhabitants of Rock Island had abandoned their homes. The once thriving community was gone, leaving only the lighthouse behind, a silent, haunting reminder of the island's troubled past. But the island was far from forgotten. In 1910, Chester Forderson, a wealthy businessman, purchased the land and set about constructing magnificent buildings. He created a grand stone hall with a boathouse, an imposing wooden gate, and a massive library filled with rare books, including some that were said to be related to the occult. But something about Rock Island always felt off. The energy of the place seemed to linger in the air, something that could never be fully explained. The mysterious death of Chester Forderson. On January 6, 1945, Chester Forderson died suddenly from heart failure. The official report claims it was simply a medical issue, but those who knew him believed there was more to the story. Some whispered that the eerie energy of the island, the same energy that had claimed the lives of others, had finally taken its toll. The Whispering Lighthouse Today, the Potawatomi Lighthouse still stands, a somber monument to the strange history of Rock Island. Visitors who come to the island sometimes claim to hear faint whispers on the wind or see fleeting shadows moving in the tower. Some even say they've caught glimpses of figures watching from the windows, their eyes full of secrets. So, if you ever find yourself on Rock Island, and the wind begins to carry voices that don't seem quite right, trust your instincts and be careful. For on Rock Island, not everything is what it seems. If you like this video, subscribe our channel for more horror and haunted stories. Till then, peace out.